Lilith as a divine feminine role model. Introduction. The Lilith archetype represents one of the most powerful and unapologetic expressions of the divine feminine, symbolizing autonomy, rebellion against oppressive norms, and the reclamation of personal power. As a figure in mythology who refused to be subjugated, Lilith has become a potent symbol for women seeking to break free from societal expectations and embrace their full, authentic selves. Embodiment of the Lilith archetype. To embody the Lilith archetype is to step into a life of independence, assertiveness, and a willingness to embrace both light and shadow aspects of the self. This journey toward empowerment requires actionable steps that allow women to reclaim their personal sovereignty, honor their sexual and emotional freedom, and cultivate leadership in every aspect of their lives. A symbol of divine feminine empowerment. Lilith is often seen as a symbol of divine feminine empowerment, embodying independence, strength, and autonomy. In mythology, she is frequently connected with the rejection of patriarchal structures and the assertion of self-worth and freedom, especially in the face of oppression or control. In Jewish folklore, Lilith is said to have been Adam's first wife, created from the same earth as him, rather than from his rib like Eve. In this version of the story, Lilith demands equality with Adam, refusing to be subservient to him, particularly in the context of their intimate relationship. When Adam insists on dominating her, Lilith speaks the unspeakable name of God and leaves Eden, choosing exile over submission. This rejection of male dominance is often interpreted as her reclaiming her power and asserting her right to equality and self-sovereignty. Qualities of the Lilith archetype. As a symbol of divine feminine empowerment, Lilith embodies several key qualities. Autonomy and independence. Lilith's refusal to be dominated or controlled by Adam demonstrates her unwavering demand for autonomy. She is often depicted as a woman who refuses to live under the constraints of patriarchal expectations. Her departure from Eden signifies the ultimate expression of independence, choosing her own path, even when it means being demonized or ostracized. Sexual liberation. Lilith's association with sexual freedom is another aspect of her empowerment. By rejecting Adam's control, she asserts her own sexual agency, becoming a symbol of liberation from the suppression of female sexuality. Throughout history, women's sexual autonomy has been tightly controlled, and Lilith, in defiance of this, represents the untamed and unapologetic feminine spirit. Shadow and light. Lilith is a complex figure who represents both the light and shadow sides of the divine feminine. In her shadow form, she is sometimes depicted as a demoness or seductress, vilified for her refusal to conform. Yet, in embracing the shadow aspects of the feminine, rage, passion, and rebellion, Lilith teaches the necessity of integrating these qualities to achieve wholeness. She reminds women that anger and defiance can be powerful tools for reclaiming their authentic selves. Self-empowerment. Lilith's story is about the reclamation of personal power. Her willingness to abandon the safety of Eden in exchange for her freedom mirrors the journey of women throughout history who have defied societal expectations to live authentic lives. Lilith's empowerment comes from within, as she embraces her true self, even when it means walking a difficult and solitary path. Divine feminine archetype. Lilith also embodies the wild, untamed aspect of the divine feminine. Unlike more nurturing or motherly archetypes, she represents the primal force of nature that cannot be controlled or confined. This archetype challenges the traditional narratives of femininity, offering a more expansive view of what it means to embody the divine feminine, which includes freedom, fierceness, and an unyielding will. Summary. Lilith, as a symbol of divine feminine empowerment, resonates with anyone who values freedom, equality, and the power to define oneself outside of traditional gender roles. Her myth challenges the notion that women must be submissive, docile, or conform to societal norms, and instead offers a vision of feminine power that is unapologetic, free, and rooted in self-sovereignty. How to embody the Lilith archetype. To embody the Lilith archetype, a woman can take several actionable steps that focus on reclaiming personal power, autonomy, and authenticity. These steps involve cultivating self-awareness, setting boundaries, embracing sexual and emotional freedom, and integrating both the light and shadow aspects of the divine feminine. Here are some practical steps. Embrace autonomy and self-sovereignty. Reflect on independence. Take time to assess areas of life where you might be overly dependent on others' approval, validation, or support. Are there situations where you feel controlled or confined? Start setting goals to establish more independence, whether it's in your career, finances, relationships, or lifestyle choices. Set boundaries. Learn to say no when necessary and set healthy boundaries in relationships, both personal and professional. Practice assertiveness in expressing your needs and desires, making it clear that your autonomy is non-negotiable. Own your sexuality. Explore sexual empowerment. Lilith is often connected to sexual freedom and ownership of one's body. Take time to reflect on your relationship with your own sexuality. Do you feel shame or repression around it? Consider practices such as mindful intimacy, sexual education, or working with a sex therapist to explore any blockages. Communicate your desires. In intimate relationships, practice open communication about your needs and desires. Be clear about what you want without fear of judgment. Owning your sexual power involves speaking up about your preferences and establishing boundaries where needed. Develop self-expression. Creative exploration. Lilith is associated with primal, creative energy. Engage in creative outlets such as art, writing, dance, or music as a means to express your deepest emotions and desires. Allow yourself to explore the raw and untamed parts of your psyche. Speak your truth. Lilith embodies the unapologetic voice of the feminine. Practice speaking your truth even when it's uncomfortable. In conversations, meetings, or any situation where you might otherwise stay silent, choose to voice your opinion and stand by it with confidence. Integrate your shadow. Shadow work. Lilith's power comes from integrating both light and shadow aspects of the self. Shadow work involves exploring the parts of you that you may have suppressed, denied, or rejected. Journaling, meditating, or working with a therapist can help you uncover these aspects and bring them into conscious awareness. By accepting your anger, fear, and darker emotions, you can begin to channel them in ways that empower you rather than hold you back. Embrace rage and passion. Society often discourages women from expressing anger or intense passion. Give yourself permission to feel these emotions fully. Practice healthy ways to channel them, such as through physical movement, martial arts, dancing, or artistic expression. Lilith teaches that rage, when acknowledged and directed, can be a powerful source of transformation. Reject societal expectations. Defy gender norms. Reflect on societal expectations that have been imposed on you as a woman. What areas of your life have been shaped by cultural norms that no longer serve you? Begin taking steps to break free from these constraints, whether it's in your appearance, behavior, career choices, or relationship dynamics. Embrace nonconformity. Lilith's refusal to conform to Adam's expectations is a central theme of her archetype. Find ways to embrace nonconformity in your life. Whether it's through your lifestyle choices, appearance, or career path, challenge the expectations placed on you by society. Follow your intuition rather than social scripts. Prioritize self-love and self-care. Cultivate self-worth. Lilith embodies radical self-worth. Focus on building a strong sense of self-love by nurturing your emotional, physical, and spiritual needs. Engage in activities that bring you joy, confidence, and fulfillment. This might include self-care rituals, journaling, or affirmations. Practice radical acceptance. Accept yourself fully, including your flaws, mistakes, and imperfections. Lilith's empowerment comes from her ability to embrace all aspects of herself, even the parts that are seen as rebellious or undesirable by others. Learn to love yourself without the need for external validation. Assert your power in relationships. Equal partnerships. In relationships, whether romantic, familial, or professional, demand equal footing. If you find yourself in a dynamic where you are consistently taking on a subordinate or submissive role, reevaluate the relationship. Lilith teaches that relationships should be built on mutual respect and equality. Communicate clearly. Assert yourself by being direct and honest in communication. Do not hesitate to express your boundaries, needs, or feelings. Lilith's defiance of being silenced is a reminder that your voice matters and you have a right to be heard. Embrace feminine leadership. Be a leader in your own life. Lilith embodies leadership through self-empowerment. Led by example in your community, workplace, or personal life by being unapologetically yourself. Whether you are in a position of authority or not, take charge of situations where you can contribute your voice and talents. Mentor others. Empower other women by sharing your journey towards self-empowerment. Lilith's legacy as a figure of empowerment can be carried forward by mentoring others, helping them claim their own voice and independence. Spiritual connection and rituals. Connect to the divine feminine. Engage in spiritual practices that connect you to the divine feminine. Lilith's archetype is often invoked through rituals that celebrate female power, independence, and strength. You might explore goddess worship, moon rituals, or meditation practices that focus on divine feminine energy. Create personal rituals. Develop personal rituals to honor your inner Lilith. This could include lighting candles, creating altars, or performing daily affirmations that remind you of your autonomy, power, and sacred feminine energy. Defend your right to freedom. Champion women's rights. Take action in areas where you see injustice against women or marginalized communities. Lilith's rejection of patriarchy can inspire you to get involved in activism or advocacy for women's empowerment. Whether through local organizations or online platforms, use your voice to champion freedom and equality for all. Summary. By following these steps, you can begin to embody the Lilith archetype in your own life, becoming more empowered, autonomous, and unapologetically yourself. This journey involves embracing both the light and shadow aspects of your personality, reclaiming your right to independence, and living authentically, free from the constraints of societal expectations. Conclusion. Embodying the Lilith archetype is a journey of transformation that calls for radical self-acceptance, the rejection of conformity, and a deep connection to the untamed aspects of the divine feminine. By following practical steps like setting boundaries, embracing sexual and creative empowerment, and integrating shadow work, women can reclaim their autonomy and power in both personal and societal spheres. Lilith teaches that true empowerment comes from within, from the willingness to stand firm in one's truth, to defy oppressive norms, and to celebrate the wild, unapologetic spirit of the feminine. In doing so, women can embody the fullness of their power, living with authenticity, strength, and independence.